Hello everybody, welcome to Josh Dell'Aria's Musical Escapades. My name is Josh Dell'Aria, and if you're looking to improve your music, this is the right place to come. If you've been watching us all along, you might remember me saying last week that I wanted to focus on this whole idea of improvement in music, and whether it was possible for artists to improve or not. And my hope was that last week, in my last episode, I showed you guys that it's totally possible to do it, as The Strange Familiar did from 2012 to 2014. Now today, I'm going to feature another artist that didn't make the top 20 when I first heard her last year, but I think she has quite a bit of potential to improve just like The Strange Familiar did from 2012 to 2014. This past November, I had the great fortune of discovering Julien Baker, and I also had the great fortune of going out to see her at the Bijou Theater here in Knoxville when she was here. I picked up her lead single Appointments from her most recent album Turn Out the Lights, which came out way toward the end of last year. And there were a lot of things I really liked about this song, but there were also a lot of things that I wasn't quite so fond of. And just to give you some background information on Julien, she writes a lot about relationships that have gone pretty sour in her life. I think, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong on this, but most of what she writes about are people who what I would call are pretend friends in her life. People who claim to be her friends and then do really stupid things to her. When I went out to see her in concert, one of the things she mentioned about her music is that she really likes to try to find the right words to express the situations that she's talking about. And of course, if you know me, that's one of the things I like the most about artists that I think are really good, is that they do use a lot of great word choices. So I'm really glad that she's focused on that. Most of the songs she writes are actually about friendships that have gone wrong, mostly platonic friendships. But this particular one was actually about a romantic relationship, and I think it was one of the first ones she wrote for the album. So without further ado, let me play it for you here. It's called Appointments.
I'm staying in tonight. I won't stop you from leaving. I know that I'm not what you wanted. Am I wanted someone who I used to be like? Now you think I'm not trying. Well, don't argue, it's not worth the effort to lie. You don't wanna bring it up, and I already know how it looks. You don't have to remind me so much how I disappoint you. Suggest that I talk to somebody again who knows how to help me get better. Until then, I should just try not to miss any more appointments.
The key to improvement in music is to keep what works and to eliminate what doesn't work. Most of the time, what holds an artist back from the top 20 the second time is that they usually don't improve something that's not working. So they usually do something bad in most of their songs, and they probably think it's just them as artists just doing what they do, and that's not necessarily true. They shouldn't do that. There are also times, though, when artists do improve something, but in the same span of time, they also kind of forget one of the things that they did that made them great. So I think it's really important to highlight both the pros and cons from every person's songs, just so that, again, you can keep what's good, keep what works, and improve what doesn't. So I'm going to point out some of the pros and cons of Julien's song here, for a couple reasons. Obviously, one, that she can improve her own music, but also that any of you out there, any of you musicians who are looking to improve yours as well, you can have a template of how to do it. One of the best things Julien does in this song is that she actually changes up a lot of the rhythms in the lyrics as the song progresses. And why that's important is because this song is more linear than cyclical, meaning it doesn't really have like a chorus and verse structure to it. It kind of just flows from, it kind of goes more of a line, like from one end to another. So changing up the rhythms of the lyrics actually keeps the song from getting stale. So to illustrate my point, let me first give you guys the first lyrics that she has in the song, and then I'll take some from another point in a little bit later on in the song, almost 2 minutes in. So here's the first one I'll give you.
I'm staying in tonight. I won't stop you from leaving. I know that I'm not what you wanted.
And here's the second one.
Just that I talk to somebody again who knows how to help me get better. Until then, I should just try not to miss anymore.
So you can see there's little differences in the rhythms of the lines, the lengths of them. Most of their songs have more background music, which will help to keep the song interesting, but in a song like this, where there's not a whole lot of background music, you need something to keep the song exciting, and this is definitely a good way of doing it. The other thing that I think she did a great job of, and I think this is kind of obvious to you guys, is the ending, or I guess bridge, or whatever you want to call it. I did say this was a linear song, not a cyclical song, so you wouldn't expect me to call it a bridge necessarily, but it kind of sounds like a bridge to me. What she does a really good job of is raising both her pitch and her dynamics. So that way, it's almost like she's just pouring out all the emotions bottled up in that song in that bridge.
When I tell you that it ends, how it's far from my benefit, maybe it's all gonna turn out alright. I know that it's not, but I have to believe that it is.
So the other thing that's really good about it too, so I obviously said, you want to keep doing what works, and part of what works in this too is the fact that the rest of the song is really quiet, so that makes this bridge or ending or whatever you want to call it, makes it stand out. And so I wouldn't recommend to Julien that she do more loud parts necessarily, but I would recommend that she have just one loud part and put in the most important lyrics in that part of the song. And fortunately for Julien, none of the cons that I'm going to mention here would interfere with her ability to do that. One of the things Julien really needs to learn is breath control. Let me give you a couple of examples here of certain situations where she breathes that nobody should ever, ever, ever breathe. Yeah, see, there are certain situations where you could get away with breathing in the middle of words if you breathe in between syllables, but there are certain words in here that are only one syllable long and that she's breathing in the middle of, and that's a really big problem. No singer should ever be doing that. The other big issue that I have with this song is this arpeggio that keeps going on throughout the entire song. And the reason why that's such a problem is because it limits the amount of chords that Julien can play over it, and it limits the kind of vocal coloring that she can do with her songs. Now, she doesn't have to go completely complex and put in a whole bunch of like A flat and D flat chords and the thing. That's not necessary, but I'm sure she can go to a G chord arpeggio or an F chord arpeggio or an A minor chord arpeggio in that song. She doesn't need to stick to the C the entire time. It would be creative to put other chords over that and kind of add a lot of tension to it, but the fact that she never strays from it, it shows me that she doesn't seem to have a lot of versatility with chords. The good thing about these things is that they're actually really basic things to fix, and I think she just needs just a little bit of coaching to go and try to remedy these things. And once she does that, I think her song's going to be clear paving for top 20s, and I think she's going to do really, really well. That's it for today. If you guys do like Julien Baker's music, do go on over to julienbaker.com, and she's also on Facebook, facebook.com/JulienBaker, and feel free to go and check out her music. And if you like this video, slap at that like button like you slap at a bass. And make sure you guys go on over and hit that subscribe button so you can see future videos like this. Also, I mentioned last week in the last video that I'm having a little bit of a competition right now. So if you are a subscriber and you would like to hear a particular band on my next episode, mention the band in the comments. I will take a look and I'll take a listen to whatever you have there. And I'll see if I can give it a go. No guarantees that I'll be able to put one on, but if I like it enough, I'll do that for you guys. And as always, if you're a musician and want to get your music featured on the show, feel free to email us at joshdellariasmusicalescapades@gmail.com, or you can send us a Facebook message on our Facebook page, facebook.com/joshdmusicalescapades, and we can respond back to you there with a submission process and all that sort of stuff. And until next time, go make great music.